So I think it worked. All right. Hey, Tarosphere. It's Holly calling from, yeah. It's Holly from Cape Cod Creatures. And we are doing the 20 tarot questions tag that's been floating around. I think Simon did it yesterday. I know a few other people have been responding. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. But anyway, yes, we have the 20 tarot questions tag. So we're going to dive right in. Hang on one second. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Oh no, I don't want to delete that one. Hi, good morning, everyone. How are you, Chris Ann? How are you, Elmoda? All right, so we're doing the 20 tarot questions. Oh my goodness. Beaker's being such a turd right now. All right, there we go. I think I've got everything set up where it needs to be. Sorry, I have it on one of those like Post-it note apps so that way I can see the questions. Hooray! And Beaker's being way too busy. And thank you, Chris Ann. Okay, so this is a tag that's been flying around the community, and it's been a long time since I've done a tarot tag, and I will, tag it correctly in the doobly later. But the first question, we're going to dive right in, is do you read for yourself? And the answer to that is sometimes. I'm not really, honestly, I'm not really that great at reading for myself. I get way too in my own way as far as that's concerned. I'm way too cerebral for it. I just look at I'm not really, ow, Beaker, that is not nice. I'm not really good at reading for myself. I don't know. I prefer to read for other people. Oh, thank you, Almoda. He is not being so beautiful right now. He's biting, and he knows he's not supposed to be biting. I need you to go on my shoulder, Beaks. Thank you, buddy. Ow. No. All right. So, do you read reversals is the second question, and the answer to that is sometimes. So sometimes I read reversals, sometimes I don't. It depends on the situation. So I go out of my way to make sure there aren't reversals in my deck. That being said, sometimes they do happen, and I feel like those happen for a reason. I mean, if I make sure that my cards are all facing the right way while I've been shuffling, and then I know how to shuffle so I don't get reversals and I still get a card that comes up reversed, well, I feel like that's the universe being like, bitch, pay attention to this. So it depends on the situation, because I find that most reversal meanings from a card you're going to get from the position in a spread. Hi, Cosmic. How are you? Beaker is here today. Yes. He's such a handsome guy. So yeah, it depends on, like, you're going to get the reversed meaning of a card depending on where the card falls in the spread or the question that you ask. I mean, like, if you ask a question like, what the fuck's my problem? And you pull a 3 of Cups, you're not going to be like, my problem is I'm so happy and I celebrate all the time. You're going to start thinking of the shadow meaning of that card. Hi, Sky Blue. How are you? I know I didn't do it on purpose, Cosmic, that the Beaker and I have matching hair today. And it wasn't done on purpose, but after I got it done, I was just like, well, son of a bitch, match the bird. Promise you I'm not one of those people. Although maybe next time I'll put a streak of yellow in. Yeah, maybe next time. Ow. Okay. So anyway, yeah, so reversals, I don't really think that, like, some people read reversals really well, but I don't think that necessarily, and there's lots of different ways to read them. Some people read them as like the meaning of the card just a little less intense or a little more important, or yeah, hi Beaks. Yes, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to somebody else. I know it's the worst. You're having the worst day, the worst Beaker day. So some people think that it's, but I think reversals are, I don't know, it's a question that flies around this community a lot. And it's just kind of like, well, you know, why? And then let's see, my favorite and least favorite card. Oh my goodness. Am I missing some questions? I missed some questions. All right, so we'll do question number 1, which is a question that I missed because I had scrolled up the doobly. Hi, Paloma. I'm not really doing readings today. Not right this moment. We're doing a tarot tag, 20 tarot questions. So maybe at the end I'll do some readings, but it depends on what time we finish. Nope, don't apologize. It's fine. Maybe next time. All right, so question number 1 was, what is your first tarot deck? My first tarot deck, yeah, hi, was actually that little tiny deck that you used to get, you know, if you go to like the bookstores, they have those little spinners and rounders with the tiny kits. It was the mini tarot kit, and I don't have it. Because I wound up, it was like I bought it when I was a teenager. I had a really messy room, and it wound up getting tossed in the garbage during a room purge. And then the second deck that I got, what was the second deck I bought? I know one of my first ones is the Zombie Tarot. Where is it? There it is. Let me reach for it. Speaker will let me reach for it. Oh my goodness, I can't remember my first deck. Is that horrible? It was probably the Easy Tarot. So this is my, the Zombie Tarot is one of my first decks. A friend got me this. It's a beautiful, if you don't have it already, highly recommend it. Al Beeks, I know, you can't have this one. Rider Waite based. We both love zombies. We both love like the vintage art kind of feel that it goes with it. But yeah, I think Easy Tarot might have been my first. And then the deck after that one was Wild Unknown. And then the deck after that one was a Rider Waite, because turns out you should probably have, I'm one of those assholes that think that thinks that you need to have Rider Waite foundations before you, like with a classic Rider Waite deck, before you go ahead and read. Sorry, that's what I think. So what made me stick with it is question number 2. And I feel like I've been over this before, but I don't know, like I've been reading on and off for years. And then a couple years ago, I just picked up a deck of cards and I was just like, nope, I'm going to take this serious. And I asked some questions about my business. And I was like, no, I really enjoy reading. So I'm going to stick. I'm a grown up and I can make my own decisions now. So I can go ahead. And if I want to read tarot, then damn it, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm glad I stuck with it. So I've been doing it ever since. And then my favorite, least favorite card. I don't have a favorite. My least favorite card, I will tell you my least favorite cards are the court cards, because those cards are assholes. Court cards, if you don't know, it's the Page, Knight, Queen, and King, and it's of all 4 of the suits, the minor arcana. They can mean a fuck ton of things. And they can mean actual people. They can mean a situation personified. They could mean aspects of your own personality. They mean so many things, and they're so hard to read. And I just wish that they would never, ever show up in a situation, in a reading, ever, ever. I've actually contemplated taking them out of my decks. I just don't really like them or enjoy them. And I've been reading for probably 2 years now, steadily, and they still trip me up. They're still like, son of a bitch. Hi, Punky, how are you? And then, all right, so the next question is, what is your favorite spread? I love me a good 3-card spread. Not any particular. I mean, you could do like past, present, future. You can do what's the situation, what's the solution, what's the outcome. There's like 1,001 variations on the 3-card spread. But sometimes I'll just pull 3 cards and see what I get from them intuitively, how they apply to the situation itself. Because you can get a lot of information out of 3 cards. You can get a lot of information out of 1 card. Even if you just pull 1 card a day, like what's my energy for the day? There's so much to be gleaned from each card that I feel like you don't really need too many. Otherwise, I took a tarot course, was it a year or 2 ago? And there was like this awesome spread that we learned from that one. Seems to read very accurately. It's not a Celtic cross, but it addresses a lot of the same issues that you find in a Celtic cross. I wouldn't even begin to know how to I forget what she calls that spread. I think it's just like the answer, like the solution spread or whatever. It's like weird, and I would love to use it more, but I have to get her permission to use it and photograph it, and I feel like I would need her permission to use it professionally. So I have to ask my teacher whether or not that's okay. And then let's see, how do I care for my decks? I put them, I am the worst. I am the worst. If you could see my desk in front of me, except for a little space cleared out currently. Hi, yeah. I have decks in piles. I've got decks in piles on shelves. I've got decks in a purse in the car, and I've got decks in piles at work. Decks everywhere, and I care for them by I keep them in their boxes, their original boxes. I feel really bad for the decks that are in my purse because that shit just gets thrown around left and right. I'm really, really hard on my stuff because I use it, and I'm not always the most, you know, I'm not always the most gentle. I don't always handle things with kit gloves. So it is what it is, decks, and I'm sorry. I feel like they would rather be, you know, taking the day-to-day journey with me than sitting on a shelf collecting dust somewhere. But I should probably think, like, I seriously just toss like the purse in the back of the car and it falls down onto the ground or the dogs step on it sometimes. I am very lucky that I haven't destroyed, and it's not like cheap decks that I carry around either. You know, I've got like the Wild Unknown and a Rider Waite in there, but I also have like my super expensive birds deck from Japan, like kicks around in that purse. And my Pagan Otherworlds kicks around in that purse. And today it's on the shelf because I want to do a video for the Supra. But it just kicks around in its bag. I don't even take its box anymore because the box was getting too beat up riding around in the purse. So it's just like, and that's a first edition Pagan Otherworlds too. I'm really, really horrible to my things. But yeah, my things get a lot of love and a lot of real life thrown their way. So I don't take care of them very well. I will say, as far as spiritually, you know, I try to keep them cleansed, wave it through sage smoke when I'm in a situation when I can do that. Like today, I've got beaker in my room, so we're not saging or lighting any candles because it's really not safe for birds. At least they're not sitting on a shelf and not being used. I've got a lot of decks that are sitting and not being used. I think that's part of the, like, I haven't counted my deck collection. I don't think I'm anywhere near Simon's 300, but I wouldn't be surprised if I have at least half that, 150. And you just can't use that many decks all the time. So I do have, unfortunately, a lot of decks that sit. And I think, so my dream is once I sell my pet boutique, once I sell the boutique, we're going to either look at staying in this house and maybe either putting an addition on, or we're going to look for a new house altogether. I'm thinking about moving to New Hampshire, honestly, which would make Cape Cod creatures really weird, right? But I love Cape Cod and it's far away from my mom, so I don't know. But eventually the dream is in the living room to have the, not built-ins, but like custom bookcase around like a fireplace or something. So I have lots and lots and lots of bookshelves to properly display the decks. The problem being is, like, I kind of like them being in my study because birds don't come in here a lot and I can kind of keep the bird dander down. 2 of my birds are cockatoos and they're very dusty. So everything is covered in like a powder, like a fine white powder. And it's just, it looks like I threw a really rad party with lots and lots of cocaine, Scarface style. But turns out it's just dusty birds. But yeah, I don't know. Like, so that's the dream, is to someday have like an amazing like tarot library. But all I have right now are like the kitchen style, like the chrome like wire rack shelving is all underneath. So my desk wraps around from like there all the way around to here, and I've got chrome shelving all the way on like under half of it. And I have a new one I need to put together. But I would love to have a tarot study or a tarot room and then conduct readings in it, like a little home office business thing. I think that would be ideal. But anyway, I digress. that's how I care for my decks. What do I get asked most? I get a lot of questions about Beaker. I get asked, do you have a toy my dog won't destroy? A lot. But I don't think that is really why you guys are here. So I'm assuming that is what's the tarot question you get asked to read for the most. And it's he, she, be. Oh, it's on there. It's getting there. It's on the list. And it's he, she, be my boyfriend type questions. And that's such an old that's such an old internet reference, by the way, you guys. If you like strong bad emails, he gets an email from somebody that so like I she be your boyfriend, I she be your girlfriend, and he goes he she be my boyfriend, and so that's just how I refer to those questions. It's a lot of questions about love and should I get back together? Should we get back together? I'm waiting for a person. Because I remember I was there once. Being young and having a love life is really fucking stressful. And I'm really lucky that I found somebody that I can be a horrible human being with and not have to worry about that anymore. And that's probably at least a good 75% of the reason that I don't enter back into the dating market is because I remember how traumatic it was. So if you have somebody and you like them and you can be your most awful self around them, you should really consider whether or not losing that is worth heading back out into the dating market because it's awful. It's awful. Anyway, where were we? So that's what I get asked the most is questions about love and life. I also get a lot of career stuff. I find that I'm really good. I'm really, really good at career and business readings because I've been there. I find that most tarot readers find whatever it is that you've been doing or whatever it is that you're good at, like that's usually the type of reading that you attract because that's how the universe works, right? It kind of figures out what your expertise is and you're going to attract a lot of those readings. So I get a lot of business readings, career readings, and then also love advice readings. And it's usually from people that just need to move on and they just need somebody to be a jerk and tell it to them like it is. So I get a lot of those readings. All right, let's see. What would a deck made by me look like? So here's the thing. I'm not a terrible artist. I'm not the best artist. But a deck made by me, I don't know. Like I thought about maybe trying to create a tarot deck. I have an artist, actually, my little sister, which is awesome. I could totally bully her into helping me create a tarot deck. And I keep trying to get her. She's like an amazing artist, you guys. Let's see, I have a piece of her work here, actually. Oh God, I can't reach it. My boob is knocking over tarot decks. Okay, let's see. This is hers. And this is just like a crappy throwaway drawing. She wasn't going to do anything with it. And I said, nope, I'll take it. And I threw it in a crappy little frame. But that's hers. So I don't know, it would probably, so I could probably, and I've got a bunch of her other, yeah, she's really good. And that's not even like her best work. that is just like I feel like doodling an octopus today. She's insanely talented and talented in a whole bunch of different media. Like you want anime fan, like furry stuff drawn, she's your girl. You want like an awesome Cape Cod watercolor, she's your girl. So I know she's very good in a bunch of different mediums, but I could probably Shanghai her into helping me design a tarot deck. I have no idea what it would look like. It would probably be animal based or it would be Cape Cod themed. Actually, a Cape Cod themed deck would probably be pretty neat. We've got a lot of wildlife and like beach and stuff to draw from here. An anime or animal deck. Yeah, I don't think I would do an anime or animal deck. I think I don't think I would do, well, I'm not saying I wouldn't do an anime deck. I thought doing a Ghostbusters deck would be fun. I had like half of a Ghostbusters deck designed. Original Ghostbusters, I am OG, by the way. Not that new Ghostbusters trash that's like can't even. Sorry, Pulfy, you're an awful director, and I hate every movie you've ever made. But Anyway, that's an unpopular opinion. There you go, coming your way. But yeah, it would be something, I don't know. I have like 1,000 different ideas for 1,000 different decks, and none of them will probably ever come to fruition. So I don't know what a deck by me would look like. It would be all sorts of disjointed. That's what it would be, because I've got tarot ADD. All right. What is the weirdest thing I have ever been asked? The weirdest thing I've ever been asked to read about. Oh, I know. So it wasn't about a reading. But here's the weirdest thing I've ever been asked. It was actually in a live chat, and then I got an email from the person because I had to follow through. I had to be like, well, let's see what's up with this. This person was in a chat on a live chat, and he's just like, I see you have a lot of talent. Would you like to like boost your talent, because I am a demon human thing, and I can like, you can totally take magic in the dark side of magic. And I was just like, okay, stranger. So I followed up, and he wanted me to light a candle in a dark room on a mirror and cover all other reflective surfaces. And I was just like, no, I'm good. Like, because here's the thing. I've seen that movie, motherfucker. I have seen that movie. And I'm not inviting some paranormal activity bullshit into this house. Fuck that. Yeah, even Bigger agrees. We've seen that movie, huh? We don't want that in our house. No, we like that was like the craziest thing I think I've ever been asked. Something about opening myself up more to the spirit realm, and like light a candle, let it burn for as long as it's gonna burn, and chant a chant, and nope. No, because here's the thing. I remain skeptical. So one of my biggest things is I am, as much as I love the esoteric, I am also a huge skeptic. That being said, I am not one to chance fate. I'm not gonna get in an airplane and dare God to kill me for an hour. You know, I'm not gonna push my luck. Thanks. So there's that. And then let's see. That's the weirdest thing I've ever been asked. My biggest pet peeve in tarot. I think my biggest pet peeve in tarot is like the spiritual fad it's become. You've got a lot of people trying to cash in on it right now. You've got a lot of people that don't take it probably as seriously as they should. I don't know. I just don't like when things that I like become huge fads. I've never liked it. I think it's the consequence of being so I'm not an only child. I'm the oldest of 3, and everything that I have ever owned has become a hand-me-down. You know, like I've always had to share space. I've always had to share my things. And it's 2 sisters too. So like we were all up in each other's business. You know, it was relentless. It's not like having a brother where you can be like, get out of my room, and then scare the shit out of him and he goes, because boys are easy. Having sisters is like, you know, we're sneaky. We're sneaky assholes. So even if we like weren't in each other's space while we were around, we were in each other's space when we weren't. So I'm very territorial, and I'm very possessive, and I know it's a problem, and I try to work on it every day. But when I see something that I love getting super popular, or just kind of like, I don't know, commercialized, I guess too. I feel like it's becoming a little more commercialized. It just kind of makes me be like, bitch is mine. It just kind of like, it's deep breath. Like I can't even without like, it's not, I guess it's like a little pet peeve, and it's my own problem, and it's not really a problem. Like I can rationalize the feeling away, but doesn't stop it from being a pet peeve. And and the other side of me is really glad that tarot is getting more popular and more mainstream and more accepted. And it should be, you know, as society becomes more tolerant, like, yeah. So brothers, I think, are a little bit easier, because if you tell brothers not to touch your shit because you'll break their fingers if they do, they tend to believe you. They'll leave your stuff alone. Sisters will be like, well, I'm going to wear that sweater, but then I'm going to sneak it back in your closet. And then you're going to be like, why is there chocolate milk stain on my favorite sweater? Like, and they're going to be like, I don't know, because sisters are jerks. But brothers, if they're gonna be jerks to you, they're not sneaky. Like they'll test. They're not sneaky like girls. I feel like we're sneaky. We're sneaky jerks. Sorry, ladies, just the way it is. We're sneaky assholes. And I think the sooner we admit it, the easier our lives will get. So anyway, that's my biggest pet peeve. And I know it's not justified or even fair or whatever, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it, you guys. Do I have any bad tarot habits? So I kind of touched on it a little bit. My bad tarot habit is I take my decks, I throw them in a purse, and I basically take that purse and I treat it like Jim Carrey treats that package in Ace Ventura, the first one. Like kick it down the street, toss it around, do cartwheels on it. Like I know I shouldn't do that. I should show that my decks a little more respect. Another bad habit that I have is just I've got some sort of mental block about learning the court cards, and I go ahead and read anyway. Like, oh my God, it's just crazy. And then, oh, I've got somebody calling me. Hang on one second, you guys. We're going to take a real life call. Hello? Oh, hi, Nancy. I'm kind of in the middle of something. Can you give me a ring back in like half an hour? Awesome. Thank you. Bye. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, so yeah, let's see. Real life, sticking its nose in my face. So let's see, bad tarot habits. Do I get any hate from skeptics or religious folk? Not really. I think I put my attitude out there. So, oh my goodness, I'm only getting top chat. Oh my goodness, hang on, you guys. Let's see if I get more messages this way. Sorry, if I've missed a message from you, I am very sorry. I just turned it to live chat so that way I can get all the messages. Apparently that's a setting I didn't know about. All right, so anyway, let's see. Where were we? Skeptics or religious folk? No, I was lucky to not grow up in a very religious household. When my grandparents died, my mom for a hot second was thinking like, oh, maybe we'll do some, hi, Mystic Aura, how are you? So we were thinking, and then Punky, did I say hi to you yet? If I didn't, I'm sorry. Hi, Punky. I know I've been responding to some of your questions, but I don't think I said an out loud hi. So I was very, very lucky that I didn't grow up in a religious household. And then I feel like my personality and demeanor are such that like people, like I don't really get trolled because I'm just going to dish it back. You guys, I'm just going to be the biggest. I have an encyclopedic knowledge and collection of ridiculous memes on my phone. I watch enough trolling videos and trolling blogs and trolling, like I love troll culture, which sounds horrible, but, like, I just think it's so funny. I can't help myself. So here's the thing. If I ever got trolled, troller beware, because I'm just going to do it right back to you. I'm just going to do it right back. I'm going to waste a whole bunch of your time and a whole bunch of your life. And I'm just going to laugh the entire time at your expense. I may even post it somewhere for the entire world to see what a jerk you act like, because I'm not afraid to do that. And I know, it's just so troller beware. You've been warned, troll at your own risk. Lifeguards are not around. But anyway, let's see. Do I have any readings did I have any readings I'm proud of? I'm proud of all my readings. I have some readings that one of your favorite things to do is troll people. Oh my goodness, Cosmic. Why? I wish we were closer in geography. We could troll together. It would be amazing. So let's see. Any readings that I'm proud of? I want to say I'm proud of all my readings. And I know that's such a cheesy thing to say, but you have to be like, somebody's got to be proud of your stuff, right? So you might as well be proud of your own stuff. But the fact that you put yourself out there to do readings, and you try to open up your intuition and energy to somebody else's intuition, to somebody else's energy, It's just like, you should be proud of that. That being said, some readings are better than others. If I'll do a reading and it just clearly it's not working well, clearly it's not going anywhere, clearly it's not like I'm not picking up on anything. So usually, here's the thing, usually when I'm proud the most of readings where my intuition is on point, or, you know, stuff just comes out of my mouth. And because I'm really bad at being like, yay, my intuition is turned on today. Sometimes it's just like, oh, well, look at that. I fucking said a thing and it matched up. Awesome. Hooray. Good for me. Like, those are the ones I'm most proud of. Because I'm not really self-aware enough to know when I'm picking up on things. So if I get a reading and like it's just not working out for whatever reason, I am not too proud to say that this clearly isn't working. You know, the reading isn't making any sense. It's not making sense for you. It's not making sense for me. You know, if you want to sit with it for a few days and let me know, and then you can come back and get another reading, that's on me. You know, it's just good customer service. But, you know, I usually try to be like, well, here's what here's the card. And then I try to equip. So one of the things that I'm proud of the most too is I'll tell my customers or my sitters or my querents whatever you feel like calling them, by the way. I'll tell them what the cards mean. Like, oh, this card is supposed to mean this, and this card is supposed to mean this, and whatnot. I'm not getting anything specific to you specifically or to the moment right now, but maybe this will make sense to you later. So I like to arm them with the knowledge that they need to have that reading make sense in their lives, either immediately or eventually. But, oh yeah, re-trolling the trollers. Yes, Cosmic. No one's saying to go out and start trolling people. You just brought the fur babies in. Aw, I love fur babies. We love the fids. But yeah, so just, you know, don't do, like, you should be proud of all your readings as long as you're reading ethically. Yep, so you should be, oh, you have to run? Oh my goodness. Bye, Chris-Ann. I'm sorry that you're going to have to run. Let's see. Skeptics. Nah. Has reading changed my perspective? If you are doing readings, if you're doing tarot readings for yourself and it's not changing your perspective, then I would argue you're doing it wrong. One of the best things about tarot is, even if you're not reading intuitively or fortune tellery style or whatnot, even if you're not doing things that way, tarot is a psychological tool to help you think out of the box and literally change your perspective about how you see a situation. So if you are not having your perspective changed at least a little teensy weensy bit while you are doing readings, then you're doing it wrong. Like, sorry, you're just doing it wrong. So yes, I have had my perspective changed by readings. I used to be not for you, sir. I used to be a staunch atheist, like absolutely nothing. I've always been interested in the paranormal, but from like a entertainment perspective, like oh yeah, that's like, you know, let's watch this, you know, let's read about this, and it was just interesting. But in reading, I've had too many coincidences to not change my mind. And then also, it does, like, literally every time I do a reading, I get a changed perspective on how I see a situation. It just kind of helps me think out of the box. So, excuse me, young man. Did you see that? He just tried to peck my face off. Thanks, I get. But anyway, let's see. Do you prepare a space or a ritual before I do a reading? Sometimes. I find I get my best readings when I'm centered. So when I'm reading here live for you guys beforehand, I will do like a little sage or a little incense or whatnot on my fancy new piece of furniture back there. It used to just be an IKEA table, but now I'm a grown-up. So yeah, sometimes I'll prepare or do a ritual or whatnot, and sometimes I'll just read. You know, it could be as simple as taking a breath in or a breath out and just reading. It depends on the situation and the space I'm in, how seriously I'm taking the reading, which sometimes is not all that serious. Admittedly, I have a friend who asks for readings all the time, and I've stopped, and it's always about the same thing, and I've stopped taking those readings seriously. I've just stopped. But anyway, yeah, it depends on the situation you're in, you know? Like if you are at a restaurant and you decide to bust out your cards, chances are you're not also waving around a sage wand and doing a throat chant and doing a sound bowl or something. It's not, I mean, it's sometimes you do a little invocation in your head, but it depends on the situation. I think that's just, yep, it depends on the situation. The short answer. How do I feel about the tarot community? Yeah, I mean, like I try to be, so Crystal Mama just said, it's like a friend that keeps asking advice on the same thing and she just stops listening after a while, which is really, oh, you tune out, I tune out too. It's like the worst. And then like they stop talking and then there's an awkward pause and you're like, oh yeah. Yep. And then like they know that you haven't been listening. It's just the worst. Oh my goodness. It's not very woke, you guys. But anyway, yeah, no, like I still try to be the good friend and I still try to be supportive and like, oh, do you want me to pull a card for you? Like I've stopped donating my time in vast quantities, but I'll pull a single card or something for her at this point. I just don't do readings. And then she was always asking for free readings and stuff. And that was no good. And then now it turns out she's paying a different tarot reader since I've started to cut her off. So she's actually paying someone at least this time. So that's good. But I'm kind of angry that it's, you know, she's not paying, like she never offered to pay me for my time. I don't know. Like I get it. We're friends. I would read for my friends. No problem. But anyway, let's see. How do I feel about the tarot community? You know, I love you guys. You know that. Oh my goodness. So the tarot community is, yeah, friends sometimes take advantage and that it is what it is. So the tarot community is awesome and very supportive, you guys. There was a little bit of drama in it recently and that made me very sad. I don't do confrontation very well. And it's just, so here's the thing. The online tarot community is an amazing place to build friendships and bridges to real life relationships and whatnot. But you still have to, my advice to you, because it is still an online community, is you have to treat it like you would any online community and take, you know, precautions and protect yourself and, you know, maybe not take everybody at face value. And it's just, it's sad, but you know, it is 2018 and not everybody is, you know, like you just have to protect yourself, you know, emotionally and physically, it is what it is. You know, I can't, like, it's just, so the drama that happened was just one of those, like, oh my God, like this is still an online community. Like, like absolutely, like this is still like, So sometimes it's just like, you have to treat it like online dating. Like, you know, everybody puts their best face forward, but at the end of the day, we're all very real people with very real issues and very real personalities. And like, it's not always going to mesh as well as it does online. Yeah, you're right, Crystal Mama. Trust your intuition on people 100%. But that being said, out of all the communities I've ever belonged to, I belong to a handful of online communities. One of them would be the parrot online community. Another one is the dog nutrition online community. Another, I belonged to, I used to belong to a marching band online community. And then I belonged to a few others, but it's definitely the closest knit. It's definitely the most forgiving. It's definitely the most honest with each other, I want to say. Like, somebody can say, oh, well, so here's the thing. Like if you're like, oh, I feed my dog this, and then somebody goes, well, you shouldn't, like it just automatically begins the infighting instead of being like, oh, I feed my dog this. And instead of being like, I respectfully disagree, but I respect your right to feed your dog what you want. Like it turns into this giant pile of unfriending and infighting. And we just had that in the bird community. There was like a big knockdown drag out between two, at least the hyacinth community. There was a big knockdown drag out between two big players in that community, which is really sad. They've had an online relationship for a long time, and now they're not even friends on Facebook, which is really sadness. But this is definitely one of the most closest knit communities. You know, I see you guys bouncing around in other forums and whatnot, and we're all bouncing around together on Facebook and on YouTube and in forums. It's just, yeah, the dog nutrition can 100% be nutty. It can 100% be nutty. And I'm guilty. I am totally 100% guilty of being a dick in that community, because I am sorry, but Purina is not a good food. And you will never convince me it's a good food. And anybody that partners or affiliates with Purina is just a garbage human. But anyway, look, I just can't even. Also, Blue Buffalo is garbage. Just putting it out there. Which is why I like when Purina and Blue Buffalo sue each other all the time over whose food is shittier, because they're both garbage foods. It's just kind of like, I just can't even. It's just kind of like, who is the worst? Like, we're both bad, but who's worst? Solid Gold's okay. But anyway, it's just, I'm an Origin gal. Origin and Akana are my two favorites. And, you know, if you can feed raw, definitely do, but you got to do it right. I'm very opinionated about raw. But anyway, yeah, cooking for your dog can be really sticky too. That's where a lot of the fights kind of enter into it too. A lot of people don't know that dogs need a varied diet. So when they cook for their dog, it's literally just chicken and rice. And then you're just kind of like, maybe give them some kale too. Like, so it's just like, if you're going to cook for them, you need to, and you probably need a supplement too, because I don't know, a lot of people just don't vary that stuff. You know, I learned a lot about dog nutrition when I learned about bird nutrition, ironically. But anyway, ow. But yeah, the hyacinth community infights a lot. Dog communities infight a lot. It's ridiculous. So this community definitely doesn't infight, because somebody can be like, I read reversals. And then somebody can be like, well, I don't. And then the two are like, that's cool, bro. And then we high five and just do readings. So there's not like, there's really not, I find, unless you're finding like some really old, uh-oh, did I poop out? The chat went down. All right, I'm back. I think I'm back, you guys. So I can usually tell when it, the reptile one is really catty. Yeah, reptile people, bird people. So usually exotic pet people are really catty, like really, really catty. Cattier than cat people. But anyway, yeah, the tarot community is just way more chill. No, show dog people are like, that's a really catty community too. And then if you're like, maybe you shouldn't inbreed your dogs a little bit, maybe they get really mad at you. And just anyway, yes, the tarot community is way more chill and way more understanding. It's way more inclusive. So here's the thing, as far as inclusivity is concerned, I find, so for those of you that don't know or haven't picked up on it yet, and this is going to be like probably not everybody's going to agree with me, but my political leanings are a little more libertarian than most, because basically I just don't think that people need to be told what the hell to do with their lives and their money. But like, I think we're all grown-ups and we can decide that as long as we aren't dicks to each other. So I find that, unfortunately, like when somebody has so this community most definitely skews left as far as politics are concerned. And the only time I've ever really seen any like boo and like non-inclusivity is somebody whose politics skew right. And I've been actually not afraid to participate in situations. I just don't tend to participate in those conversations. I just don't think that life is too short, honestly, you guys, to even begin to discuss politics, which is why you don't see me discussing it a lot here. And it's why I've kind of not put my foot down in my forum, but I just don't think that politics really has a place in tarot, or at least not alarmist politics. And unfortunately, I feel like that's where society is right now, which is, I think it just lowers our vibration, if I'm going to be new agey about it. I just think there's a lot more things to waste our time and thought and energy on than politics. So that's only the time that I feel like the tarot community isn't very inclusive, but it's not that it's not inclusive. It's just, I feel like it makes me a little afraid to be like, I respectfully disagree. Because I feel like that is one of the only things you could talk about in this, because the community is so, like, the tarot community is so inclusive and varied and diverse and amazing. That's one of the things that I really, really love about it. I think it's it proves that people from all walks of life can come together for the greater good, which is why, like, it's just like, no, we're here for education and tarot and we love this thing and we're all really supportive. But every once in a while, for whatever reason, something kind of like rears its ugly, like politics rears its ugly head in some of the forums or in some of the Facebook groups or in some of the videos. And if you were to say something like, I respectfully disagree, I feel like you would be swooped down upon. So I just don't. So that is my only thing. And then that's one of my other dark secrets. I left one of my dark secrets was that I'm not a fan of children and I'm child free. And then another one of my dark secrets that I kind of have left. So that's another one of my dark secrets is I am not a Democrat. Also, like, you don't say that out loud in Massachusetts either, because it's a very blue state. So instead of, yeah, it's like one of those crazy, crazy things. Actually, you know, maybe one of these days I'll do a video about that, but probably not. Like, probably not. Yeah. So I was raised, Cosmic says, I've always found politics to be touchy, full stop. Happy to not see it in the forum, although I enjoy being informed about it. Yeah. I mean, always be informed. Always. I'm not being like, hey, don't vote and don't vote. Like, you know, like, so for a while I was like a political atheist. Like, I wasn't registered to vote. I just didn't want to participate in the system and whatnot. I just thought it was just hopeless. I still kind of think it is. I like to joke that I'm an entropist because at this point the machine is too big. And we're just gonna, like, I'm just gonna sit on my roof and watch it fall apart and drink a margarita while I do, because I'm not having kids. I'm not leaving it to anybody. Maybe that leaves me a little less invested in it. But I couldn't, that didn't sit well with my conscience either. So now I'm registered. I do vote. It's a pain in the ass, but why don't they have that shit online yet? Honestly, why don't they have that shit online yet? It would just make my life so much easier. But yeah, it's not worth it. You're right. It's not worth it to do it online, and it just it always devolves. But anyway, let's see. Yeah, so be informed, do what you need to, whatnot. But I wish that was one of those things where we could be like, I respectfully disagree. But it's not. We're just not there yet as a community, and it is what it is. And I don't think the tarot community isn't there yet. I just think humanity as a community isn't there yet. I mean, we're still fighting over stupid shit instead of being like, should we colonize? Like, let's go colonize the moon today. Like, instead of doing that, we're still fighting over stupid issues, and it's really dumb. We're doomed. But anyway, so that's how I feel about the tarot community. I love it to pieces, and I love that it's just so awesome and chill, and it's kind of a refuge for me, and that's why I love it, and it's just amazing. But anyway, any advice for my younger self? Yeah, bitch, eat less cake. Like, that would be some advice for my younger self. Also, don't date at least 3 of the assholes that you dated. And also, don't go have a fling with that guy because he had a micro penis. a good story. I'm not going to tell it here, but it's a good story. But anyway, a lot of advice for my younger self. Seriously though, one of it would be if I could go back in time and tell myself, like, you need to take better care of yourself health-wise. I'm struggling with it now because I'm 35, and the older you get, the harder it is to lose weight. And as much as I love, so I love myself, and I think I look great, and I've got wonderful self-esteem, and everybody should. And, you know, body positivity and all that. But I am also not going to say that my weight doesn't come with health issues. You know, it's not good. So not that I'm not healthy, but in the long run, I am more prone for, like, I am more at risk for things like diabetes. Weight has been linked to things like heart disease. My grandfather had at least 3 heart attacks before he died of a heart attack. So that's not good. And then, so I've got a family history of that. It's also been linked to things like Alzheimer's and dementia, which, if I lost my brain, like, that's the one thing I really have going for me is my brain. And I just really don't want to lose that. It also makes playing with the pets harder, which I don't really love. It's another reason I want to sell the store. When I opened the store, I've never been a small kid. I've always been, you know, the fat kid. And honestly, I like it. I like not having to worry about what I put in my mouth or obsess over, like, what I'm going to wear, what size I'm going to be. I've never really done that. But when I opened the shop, I started stress eating more than I usually stress eat. And I eat for emotional comfort too, because of the way that I grew up. But we won't talk about that. So I know my own bad habits. And I wish I could just go back in time and tell younger me, like, look, this is super unhealthy for you. You know, don't. Like, there are other ways to cope. Please don't. This is a bad habit for you to start. Just, you know, what's a good habit? Exercise. Maybe get your stress out with exercise. But exercise is so boring, is what I would say to myself. And I'd be like, yeah, there's no way around that. It's going to be boring for the rest of your life. But anyway, so that is the advice I wish I could give my younger self. And then I would also tell my younger self to stick with tarot, because I started tarot when I was younger. And I was more open to messages and signals and intuition and that stuff when I was younger. Like, I wish I could go back and tell, like, little baby me. Like, I used to, when I was young, I think I used to have dreams about astral travel and stuff. And usually if you have a dream about astral travel, it means that you did it. Because I would always wake up with, like, that falling feeling, and like, I would have gone to amazing places. And every once in a great while, I feel like I still do. But it's really, really few and really, really far between. So I think if I was younger, I would tell myself to, like, don't let being an adult and being I'm very cerebral and logic driven. Like, don't let that stuff get in your way. Like, that's I think all children need that advice. You know, I know somebody right now who's, like, their kid is having a really big fear of the water and a really big fear of the dark. And I want to be like, ooh, that's past life connected. Like, I can just tell it's past life connected. And then but she's very, very, again, logic driven and whatnot. Like, I know she wouldn't entertain that. So it's like one of those, like, oh, don't tell your kid, like, explore this with your child. It's so awesome. Like, he's so connected. But it's just like one of those. So I feel like that's the advice I would give my younger self too. Like, don't listen to the grownups about how this is just your imagination, and don't listen to the grownups about how that can't be a real thing, because it can be very real. And that is one way tarot has changed my perspective too. But anyway, any advice for novice tarot readers? Oh my goodness, it is 10:30. So the first advice I will give you for tarot novices is don't make videos that are more than an hour long. It's rare that people will watch those. I'm just kidding. So the advice that I will give for tarot novices is, one, my super curmudgeonly old lady advice is get a Rider-Waite deck and get in an in-person class. Online classes are great and whatnot, but if you can find like an in-person class with people to hold you accountable for learning, like for doing your tarot homework and learning the meanings of the cards. Like, sorry, most decks are based on Rider-Waite these days. The Rider-Waite system is just, it's so prevalent in tarot. And it's always good to have those book meetings to fall back on. And you just need to, like, it's like learning your multiplication tables. You just need to, sorry. You just need to. So if you can find an in-person class, I found that worked the best for me for remembering the meanings of the cards. I had some of them down, but not always. And get yourself a traditional Rider-Waite deck. Rider-Waite Smith. I always leave off the Smith. But I'm trying not to, because Pamela Coleman Smith, the artist, needs way more credit for that deck than she was ever given. So get yourself a RWS deck, a Rider-Waite Smith deck, and build your tarot foundation on that. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, find a deck that resonates with you. And, just open up your intuition and the meaning should come to you immediately. And it's just, that doesn't work for every novice. And I don't think that that's a good way to learn. I think having a really good foundation, I've always been, music theory, like a good classic education foundation as far as that's concerned. So if you can find an in-person class, then yay. The other advice I will give you is, if you can't find a class, get a book. 78 Degrees of Wisdom. I actually have my copy. Oh my goodness. Right here, because I still read it. It's only one of the books I've taken really good care of using bookmarks and shit. That's a really good book. The other one that I really love is this one, The Modern Witchcraft Book of Tarot. That's an amazing book. So get yourself a really good book that covers the meanings of the cards. And just jump in and start, go card by card, journal the meanings, pull a card every day, twice a day, if you can, at least one. So do readings every day, like just read every day, because you got to. But anyway, that is my advice for tarot novices, is find a class in person if you can. If you can't, do one online, but have it be one that has assignments where you're actually held accountable. No open book ridiculousness. Do one that's conducted over Skype or something. Just one where you're held accountable. Just not one where you just kind of like, oh, they throw some stuff at you and here's an open book online quiz and then yay. And then that is it, I think. Yep, so that's the 20 questions, and it is 10:36, and Beaker and I have to get going to work. So anyway, the two books I would recommend would be The Modern Witchcraft Book of Tarot, and then the 78 Degrees of Wisdom book. This is a wonderful, wonderful book. And then there's a sequel to it, which I haven't received yet. That's a wonderful book for tarot novices. And then another one that I really recommend, and I've been loving this book lately too, is Tarot Interactions, because this will help you put cards together and read them as a story. This book has just been immensely helpful for me. So those are the three books I'd recommend for novices. So that is it. All right, you guys, I have to get going. I have to go to work, and Beaker needs to have some Mac nuts and go back in his cage, and that's going to take at least 10 minutes to do. So I will see you all later, and thank you for hanging in for my ramblings. All right, you guys, have a good one. Bye.